Thank you, Emily. Well, I think every day is a good day to enjoy a glass of wine, but especially around the holidays when you're gathering more with family and friends. I'm so excited today. Not only do we have Tom here as our celebrity co-host, we also have Marnie Old. You're a nationally renowned sommelier, you're a wine educator, and you're an author. And today you're going to be talking to us a little bit about, and I found this so interesting, why maybe your favorite wine with your Thanksgiving meal doesn't taste as good as you usually think it does.
Well, I can show you something that most chefs, sommeliers, and restaurateurs know, but that most wine drinkers don't. And it's as simple, your viewers can follow along at home if they want to try this later. We're just going to do a little demonstration with salt and honey to show you something about wine and food chemistry that most people aren't familiar with. I'm going to ask you both just to take a little sip of this dry wine.
Okay.
And wines, when we say dry, we mean it's not sweet. There's no sweetness on the tip of your tongue. And wine always has high acidity, that sourness, that comes from the natural fresh grapes. Now, usually those qualities are great for offsetting the flavors of food, for flattering food, because acidity has a natural synergy with salt. And I'm going to ask you each just to take a pinch of salt and get that right on your tongue, almost as if you're doing a shot of tequila here. I know, we're getting you started off right in the morning. Huh? And after the salt dissolves on your tongue, go back and taste the wine again. And I want you to notice how much less sour it tastes, much less acidic. This is what normally happens when we put wine and food together, because most food is seasoned more heavily with salt. But if you take one of these honey sticks, get just a little dab of honey on the tip of your tongue.
Okay.
I'll show you what happens at Thanksgiving dinner, because we use so much more sugar in the sauces and foods that we prepare over it's like toothpaste and orange juice, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Salt blocks the perception
crazy.
of acidity. Sugar amplifies it.
Okay.
And when you think about how we cook over the holidays, cranberry sauce on the turkey, honey glaze on the ham, and those sweet potatoes, as if they weren't sweet enough, we add brown sugar and top it with marshmallows, right? Generally speaking, the drier the wine, the more sour it's going to taste with foods like that.
Okay.
We almost need to choose sweeter wines, wines that are a little sweeter on the tip of the tongue than we would normally drink. Taste normal with Thanksgiving dinner. You could serve New York Riesling, you could serve Moscato, and it'll taste dry at the table if you're using those kinds of sugary sauces.
Very
and I'm
interesting.
in town, you know, we're here sharing this information with chefs and restaurateurs. The Food Summit 2012 for Delaware North is today. So I'm in town to do a wine and food chemistry demonstration for that group later on. And we're going to have some great fun sharing some of these ideas and more.
And I think you've just come out with a book that, if I'm not mistaken, has tips like this in it, right? Talk to me about that.
Of course, of course. I just came out with a new book, and it's my first one that doesn't come on paper at all. It's only for the iPad and iPhone. It's called Wine Simplified. You can find it on iTunes or, of course, at my website at marnieold.com. But it walks through all sorts of simple, useful, concise ideas like this. It's designed like a crash course, a survival guide, so to speak, for using wine. It's not a lot of memorization. It's really compelling, simple ideas like this that can help you get right on the right track.
So maybe what some folks consider, or a lot of folks, I guess, would consider a very complicated subject, you kind of break it down and make it very easy to understand. And also, you have a fabulous website, too.
Thank you. We have a lot of content on there for anybody who feels wine anxiety. You can visit the website. I have all sorts of great tools and tricks and tips, insider insights into how those of us in the industry look at wine. It's often the case that we feel overwhelmed by the amount of wine information. When we go to the store, it's like shopping in a bookstore where they're all written in Portuguese. You know, it's hard to find what you're looking for. My style is to help give people some rules of thumb, some useful generalizations that can help them wade through those overwhelming options and come to be able to recognize and follow their own personal tastes.
How neat. I learned something today. Did you learn something, Tom?
Absolutely.
I never knew any of this.
This is something I've got to tell you. You almost always want your wine to taste a little too sour on first sip for it to taste right with normal dinner. But the more sugar there is in the sauce, and that could be Thanksgiving, it could also be Asian foods or Nuevo Latino foods, the more sugar you use in the foods, the more you want to err on the side of less dry wines, wines that have more noticeable sweetness.
So kind of sweet with sweet works.
Exactly.
Okay.
And not because it seems more sweet, because they seem less sweet together.
That's interesting. Marnie, thank you so much for being here today.
Of course.
We're going to send things over to Matt now.